Scenic Eclipse is rated as a 6-star yacht and is a stunning looking ship, or discovery yacht as the folks at Scenic like to call it. But as we all know, looks aren't everything. What's it like on board? What's it like to cruise on Scenic Eclipse? How are the cabins? What's the food and beverage offer like? In short, does Scenic live up to the hype?
Join us on this episode as we talk about all things Scenic Eclipse and have a look at what you can expect if you choose to cruise with Scenic Eclipse in the future.
We're Andrew and Leonie, and we like to cruise and travel.
Join us on our travels all over the world as we review a range of cruises, cruise lines, land tours, all sorts of shore excursions, and a range of hotels and resort holidays.
And remember to like and subscribe.
Scenic Eclipse is a beautiful looking ship, sleek and sexy. On the inside too, it's elegant, moody and modern.
A few facts and figures to kick things off. Eclipse holds 228 passengers, but this reduces to just 200 passengers in polar regions. The cruise we were on, there was only 130 passengers, so we never felt troubled for room or felt hemmed in.
No. The Scenic Eclipse has a crew of 176, with an additional 6 crew members for polar expeditions, so a total of 182. You can do the maths, but we had more crew than passengers at our voyage.
Amazing.
Even if the ship's full, it's roughly a passenger crew ratio of 1-to-1.
We'll start with our cabin, or suite as they like to call them on Eclipse. We had a veranda suite, the base or entry level suite on the ship, but it had everything we needed plus a whole lot more. All cabins on Scenic Eclipse have a balcony, and the balconies are large, in fact the largest we've sailed on to date.
Just to list some of the amenities provided, there's a Dyson hairdryer. First time I'd ever used one of those, very nice. Super duper binoculars, waterproof and floating.
In every cabin?
Yeah, with a strap, so no sharing. 2 umbrellas, fancy toiletries, a desk area, a magnifying makeup mirror, a rainfall and handheld shower, a stock minibar that's complimentary and drinks in the fridge and ice are replenished daily. Water and carafe, deliberately avoiding plastic bottles. A coffee machine, a kettle, tea and coffee supplies, an electric adjustable bed. That was really cool if you wanted to sit and read or watch TV. You could do one side, one
It was a
way.
really well appointed room.
Very well appointed, yeah.
There are quite a few power points. Some fit Australian plugs, but most are designed for US plugs. Also, there's a 110 volt plug in each room. There are 2 USB outlets on either side of the bed, as well as a power point. We took a power board, but never actually used it. The bathroom was the biggest we've ever had on a cruise ship, and the shower was amazing. Lots of hot water and fantastic water pressure. This is actually just the thing you want after you come in cold, damp or wet from being outside on a shore excursion, and having unlimited hot water at full pressure feels uber luxurious when you're in such a remote area such as Antarctica.
Sure did. And did I need it after that sea kayaking? Let's talk about the restaurants. Scenic Eclipse is a small ship, but it takes its dining very seriously. After all, it is 6-star. There's about 10 dining options on board, including room service.
It's amazing when you think that there's 130 passengers on our cruise, but there are 10 dining options.
Suffice to say, you don't need to queue. The food variety and quality on board is unbelievable. Having food on board, all food on board for 13 days did not get boring.
Firstly, there's the Yacht Club, which is a buffet restaurant. They were the best buffets we've ever experienced, bar none.
Yeah, and we're not fans of buffet restaurants generally.
Not generally. There's the fancy, some would say silver service French restaurant, Lumiere, where the menu changes every 3 days. They serve a wonderful 7-course degustation. We ended up going to Lumiere 3 times on the voyage, and the food and wine experience was exceptional. Certainly for me, Lumiere was the food highlight of Eclipse.
Me too, although the buffets are amazing. There's Coco and Night Market at Coco, which are both Asian fusion, as well as a sushi and sake bar. Again, they were changing menus so you don't get bored.
Yeah, Night Market was pretty cool. We got to sit around a small intimate table with some fellow guests, and they actually cooked teppanyaki style in front of us. Great discussion, great food. It was a great night.
It was, yeah. We were at counter we sat up at. Yeah, that was a really fun night. There's also more casual dining, because you don't always want a fancy meal, such as Elements, serving Italian-inspired food, and the relaxed Azure Bar and Cafe.
Yeah, I think we could get a burger there, have a burger and beer, or a toasted sandwich or something like that. So sometimes you don't want all of the fancy food. It was fantastic that they had that casual option.
Yeah, absolutely. Something for everyone, every lunch and dinner.
There's a very handsome looking bar in the main reception area. It's actually the centerpiece of our lounge. Anything you could want to drink. I think there are over 100 types of whiskies available. Apparently the owner of Eclipse likes whiskies, and it's really, really well stocked. It's all included. There is no additional charge for any food or drink on Scenic Eclipse. Surrounding the bar is a huge lounge area with copious amounts of comfortable seating. We had trivia and social get-togethers in this lounge, which had huge windows overlooking the panoramic views. It was the perfect place for a pre and also a post-dinner drink. And almost everyone grabbed their favourite drink before heading into our daily briefings in the lecture theatre.
Yep. Our favourite lounge was the observation lounge on deck 5 at the front of the ship. There's a kitchenette at the back of this lounge, where you can help yourself to water, still or sparkling, teas, all manner of coffees via a fancy self-service machine. There's a fridge containing wine and beer, and a cookie jar. There was chocolate chip, caramel, raisin and oats are all yum. There's also a library in that lounge with panoramic views and an outdoor deck.
And I've got to say, the seats were like proper reading seats. They reclined, and they were super comfy.
Yeah, we loved that lounge.
As Leonie said, there was a library in this lounge. I managed to find a book on the Polar Explorer Shackleton, which was befitting really, because we were in his part of the world, and devoured that book during the voyage.
My favourite thing on a ship, a self-service laundrette. There were 3 mealy washers and 3 dryers. There was washing powder included, an iron and an ironing board. We used that a couple of times and found it very convenient and handy.
We also attended yoga. It was a combination of yoga and Pilates most days. You needed to pre-book, as the room only had a capacity for 8 guests. There is no charge to attend these sessions, although it was a bit challenging on a lumpy sea when we were doing the Drake crossing. We didn't find that there was strong demand for these classes,
I don't know why.
with usually only 3 or 4 people attending. So we had personalised attention, and I've got to say, we really enjoyed the daily yoga.
We did, and a fun memory for me is that's where I saw my first iceberg. We were on the mat and got up, and I said, "There's an iceberg!" I'll remember that.
There were lots of those pinch me first moments, be it a whale or a leopard seal or penguins or icebergs.
There were. We didn't take advantage of these things. I don't know why, but there's a sauna.
Too much to do.
Yeah, I guess. So too much to look at. Sauna, which is infrared. There's a cold plunge pool. There's a steam room. They're all included, all complimentary. I guess we were too busy looking for whales. Eclipse also offers a large menu of spa and salon treatments, and they are user pays.
One of my favourites, on the top deck there are 2 hot tubs. These are drained during the Drake crossings, but whilst in Antarctica they were filled every day and were beautifully hot. We did use the hot tubs, and it was one of the highlights of our cruise actually, to be sitting in the tub as it was snowing, watching icebergs drift past, whilst we were as warm as toast. Loved it.
Surreal.
Let's move on to the onboard entertainment. This is a small ship, so there are not gala musical and theatre events. I think given everything else Scenic Eclipse offers, an extra crew member or 2 for entertainment would not go astray. Having said that, who wants to be inside listening to music or a show when the best show you'll ever see is outside, with whales breaching or orcas pack hunting for their next meal, which is what we saw. The scenery is entertainment enough.
Yeah, true. Having said that, the cruise director and assistant cruise director did organise plenty of things. There was trivia, they sang live a couple of times too. There were cooking demonstrations and yoga classes that we've already talked about. Our favourite thing were the daily lectures and debriefs that were 6:30 each night, perfect lead into dinner. They talked there about what we'd seen that day, what we were going to see the next day, including expected weather and conditions.
Always with a cocktail in our hand.
Why not?
The Discovery team leader would show a couple of photos taken that day and explain them, and 2 to 3 other Discovery team members would give a PowerPoint presentation about their specialty. Might have been whales, or the history of Antarctica, avian flu, ice. We learn a lot. You could attend the briefing in the theatre, which we often did on the way to dinner, or you could actually also watch it in your suite on the TV.
Yeah, live or on demand. Speaking of the TV, it's worth a mention. It was very clever. When it wasn't on, it was a giant mirror showing the Daily Wonder, which is a program of events. You could have that program in paper if you wanted, but you had to request it. That's an environmental thing. The TV in your cabin also showed the weather, the news, or a few German, French and Italian channels. There's a dedicated movies on demand channel, very handy for those day crossing days. There was a dedicated music on demand channel, also very handy. Or you could mirror your own device and use Bluetooth for your own choice of music. There was even an alarm clock built into that TV. I'm very impressed. And lastly, there's complimentary Wi-Fi. This was so good that we were able to video call our kids and my sick dad back in Australia every day of the trip.
Yeah, I actually streamed some content to download as well. So for me, it worked with streaming.
Yeah, and you don't pay anything extra for any of this. We've had Wi-Fi on other ships that isn't.
It's another of the Scenic 1%.
Yeah, that's right.
We just have to talk about the Discovery team. In our opinion, what an asset they were to Scenic Eclipse and how much they add to passengers' enjoyment and understanding and appreciation of what we were seeing every day.
Absolutely. They were easy to spot. They wore blue and white striped shirts. There was 20 odd people from all over the world, but to a man and a woman, they were so passionate and enthusiastic. Most had masters or PhDs in their chosen field, so they were very knowledgeable. On the first evening, they all introduced themselves, their backgrounds and their passions. It was a killer benefit having a crew so keen and knowledgeable.
Let's talk about the crew generally.
Yeah. The crew, from the captain down, were incredibly enthusiastic and friendly. They could not do enough for us. What about the open bridge policy? That was something we loved. I
absolutely loved it. You had 24-hour access to it. There were binoculars and telescopes on the bridge. I got a cool photo that I'll put up, me actually sitting in the captain's chair. The views were amazing, and the information that the crew shared whilst we were on the bridge just added to the whole our whole understanding and appreciation of what we were seeing.
And to how special this voyage was. The blue sky day we were at Charlotte Bay, we went to the bridge, which we did pretty well every day, and we had a chat to the captain that day. He was also captivated by the weather and the scenery, and asked him a few questions, and direct quote, he said to us, "Antarctica is a feeling." And when we asked him what his favourite destination to sail is, again, pretty well direct quote, "Well, nothing competes with Antarctica. Antarctica's in a category all of its own, then there's everywhere else." So
how cool it was to have that level of enthusiasm from the skipper, from the captain, talking about how privileged and lucky he felt to be actually in Antarctica with us on that day.
So when he felt that way, imagine how we felt. Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
There's a team of butlers on board available to every passenger in every suite. I'm not sure why, but we had no use for the butler and didn't actually take advantage of this service, but it's certainly there if you want it. So in summary, we had seen Scenic Eclipse on a few TV travel shows, so we had pretty high expectations and a good idea of what to expect. Well, let's just say the ship exceeded our expectations. The Eclipse is an amazing ship, the best by far we've ever been on. So far we have cruised 14 times.
Everything on the boat is beautiful and in pristine condition. Aesthetically it's beautiful, but it's also fast and smooth. There's honestly nothing to fault. 6 stars out of 6.
One of the questions we're often asked is about the dress code on board. When you are not wearing the expedition gear, some of which they actually give you, on the ship most people were pretty casually dressed, wearing tracksuit pants or casual pants during the day.
That doesn't mean that anyone looked scuzzy. Like, everyone was dressed in clean clothes, not threadbare or what you wear out in the garden, but definitely very casual. It was slightly more dressed up at night. Men wore collared shirts rather than t-shirts that they might have been wearing during the day, but still pretty casual. The ship is warm enough that you can wear sandals, so most women paired sandals with long pants, weren't too many skirts or dresses. So certainly not a glam up cruise.
Well, that's it for this episode. As you can tell, we loved Scenic Eclipse. With the exception of a bit more structured entertainment, there is absolutely nothing we can fault onboard Eclipse for an expedition cruise to Antarctica. Highly recommended.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. Feel free to send us a comment or ask a question. One thing I was concerned about before going on the cruise was what gear to take. So if anyone's interested, let me know and I'll answer that as best I can. Otherwise, don't forget to throw us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already.
Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon for our next episode, which will be something completely different, which is a trip to Kangaroo Island in Australia, where we immerse ourselves in wildlife and taste and eat some of the best produce in the country. It will be a great episode.
Sure will. And we're about to head off to Europe, so more content from there coming too. Bye for now.
Bye.